Welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses. Ask any questions in the comments or use the hashtag QBATE on Twitter. If you need any more advice, join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. During the live session, we will be running a poll, so please do engage with it, and I'll reveal the result at the end. My name is Jackie Fast, and I'll be doing your session this morning. I'm an investor, entrepreneur, small business owner, and actually a recent author, which is very exciting, and also why I'm here again today. My new book, Rule Breaker: Rebellious Leadership for the Future Work, is going to be out in March. And as part of Ask the Expert, we are running an amazing competition for your chance to win a one-on-one business coaching session with me. But also everybody who joins us live today will get 20% off discount code to pre-order the book by using the code COGANPAGE20 as part of the live feed. And once you buy the book and DM the receipt to QuickBooks UK Instagram account, you will be automatically entered into the competition. All the details will be shared in the live feed together with a link to buy the book and all terms and conditions. So let's get to it, shall we? Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm super excited about today's session because I'd love to talk about leadership today. My background has changed very much, even in the last 10 to 15 years. I started my career out when I came to London with backpack in hand when I was 25 years old and had no clue where to start or where to go. And much like lots of people who'd always dreamed about setting up my own business, but never kind of had the confidence or gumption to kind of do it. And in the financial crisis, it kind of spurred me to kind of do something on my own. So I had my first business, which was a relatively small business. I set it up in my bedroom, basically, in a laptop, and ended up growing it. It was a service-based business. I worked in sponsorship. We ended up working with clients as big as Prince of Music, Elton John, Rolling Stones, Richard Branson. It ended up being a behemoth of an agency, actually quite a lot bigger than I ever expected it would be, or really even dreamed about doing it. And especially when I was working full time and was thinking about what I wanted to do, I never kind of expected it to be so big. And that ended up, fortunately, being into a situation where I could exit the business. So I sold the business in 2016. And following that, I've done a number of things, including I've invested in a fintech. I sit on the board of an Hermes handbag company, business advertising agency. It's pretty much the gambit. But what I've learned I also have an ice wine business, actually, which is also important to mention, Rebel Pie. But because I guess I've been in so many different types of careers, ranging from my wine business is literally just me, a warehouse, and a bunch of international distributors, whereas my agency was a team of 30 all around the world with offices worldwide. I've kind of looked at the way leadership has not just shifted, but I guess for new leaders coming up, how it's quite vastly different to the 70s and the 80s and the greed is good mantra, all that Wolf of Wall Street stuff. And nobody had written kind of a book on it, especially coming from a female perspective. So I was really fortunate. I mean, some would say fortunate, maybe not, but COVID kind of forced me to have an opportunity down and look at what leadership means today and write a book about it. And I think everybody now in the entire world is kind of at a tipping point where they're looking for change. They're wanting change to happen. And within your community, within your business, everybody's working from home. How do you maximize the opportunities? How do you capitalize on business leadership when the world is so different to the way it was? I mean, even last year, how are you a leader when you're working from your bedroom, whether that's within a big organization or within your own small business? And that's really what Rule is about. It looks at a whole number of case studies, all contemporary businesses, but very different in terms of the structure of them. So we look at Kylie Cosmetics to Beats by Dre, to activist Greta Thunberg, to influencer marketing, and all around the world, really, and how that is shifting. So I'm really excited to talk to you about my book. I'm really excited to talk about my journey. I'm really actually excited to answer any kind of questions you guys have this morning because, I assume with COVID, it is changing everything. And I know a lot of people, especially now, are really starting to look at the past year. I mean, we're coming into the holidays, and I think this is always a good time for reflection, eating a lot of turkey and obviously thinking about how the year's gone. And I think everybody will agree it's not the best year by far, but I think everybody is wanting to hope that 2020 is going to be a better year. And this is the time to really start thinking about that. Like, if you're unhappy in the job that you're at, or you're not really happy where your business is, and you kind of want to push it, but you're not really sure how, I think it's important to have a think about what kind of priorities are important in your life. And I think fundamentally that is really what new leadership is about. It is about following your passion and really identifying and having the confidence to stand up for what you believe in, to do the kind of work that you want to do, and to kind of get the kind of clients that you want to work with. It's no longer super necessary to kind of go out and build a shop you think people are interested in and maybe doesn't completely align with your own values. Now is the time. Now is the time to go and align your work with the things that you're most passionate about. And it really is about how can you go and do that. If you're in a career, a lot of people are probably sitting at home wondering, how can you set up a business in such a tumultuous time? And honestly, coming out of the financial crisis in 2008 was the best time I could have set up my business. And it certainly didn't seem like it at the time. But a lot of this kind of change and uncertainty does create opportunities. And you just have to have the confidence, I guess, and the courage to go out and make it happen. And I think 2021 is a year not only for you to go and do that, I think it's a year for everybody to go and do that. I think it's really starting to become more important that work is no longer work and our lives are so interconnected, and there isn't, I think we talk about work-life balance, but I actually see it being the other way. I think work is so much more part of life that, you have to make sure that what you're doing, you love to do. And once you do that, I think that's what makes a leadership truly passionate about what it is that they love to do. So I'm going to be answering all of your questions about this, but I can answer any of a small business, starting a business, changing careers, ice wine, authorship, anything that you want to talk about this morning. I mean, it's COVID as well. So talking about how you launch a business during COVID, I know is super topical as well. But I'm going to start taking some questions. So please make sure to join in. Please ask any questions. There's no bad question. I will do my best to answer all questions as well as I can. So I'm going to start off with Kylie from Twitter. She says, "Morning, Jackie. What's your secret to overcoming burnout? I'm running a side hustle consulting gig along with my day job. It's so exhausting at times. I feel like giving up." Oh, Kylie, I hear you. I mean, it's super hard. I think a lot of people kind of ask me, when do you know you're ready to take the leap? And quite honestly, Kylie, I think what you're doing is the right thing, but yes, it's super hard. I'm kind of known, actually my nickname amongst my friends is the robot, because I kind of just keep going like a Energizer bunny. But eventually what happens is I too burn out. I mean, everybody does. I think it's important to recognize when you're approaching burnout, and some people don't always recognize it, but usually it's a physiological thing. For me, I get headaches. And I know when I'm getting headaches, it's not like just drink more water. It's you need to slow down. I would probably say start prioritizing. And this is really bad, but like if your day job is important for you and maybe there's a way you can compartmentalize certain things. So rather than at your day job taking a lunch break, perhaps there's a way to do some of your consulting gig during your lunch break. And then that way you're kind of trying to at least have your working hours condensed so you have a bit of a break. I personally need to watch an hour of TV a day. And it sounds ridiculous, but if I'm working until 3 a.m, I will go home and watch an hour of TV just because I need to leave. And I think really you just need to take care of yourself. but it's tough. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I would love to say, make sure you take care of it yourself and everything will turn out for the best. Honestly, when you're doing a side hustle, you do need to put the time into it if you want that side hustle to become your real hustle. So all I can say is take care of yourself, drink lots of water, try to get as much sleep as you can, but also try to remember that this isn't an indefinite thing. You're not going to be doing your day job and a side hustle indefinitely, right? So, have some goals. So if by April, you're working super, super hard and you're not getting clients or you're not getting traction, that's a time to relook at it. Because sometimes, the side hustle maybe isn't realistic and you're working, 20-hour days, 7 days a week. You can't do that forever. So you need to make a goal or, maybe by April that you're going to take the leap and you're going to save up as much money as you can so you can do that full time. That would be my recommendation. On to the next question. We've got Nicole from Facebook Messenger. She says, hi, I became a team leader early on in my career and went my own way. After years in organizations and with old school structures, I feel like I lost my more, and in my opinion, modern way of leader. Not sure if I was young and naive before, but do you have any advice on how to break away from the mold? I'm currently setting up my company and we're already a team of 8. Wow, congratulations. I want to be a leader that provides culture for the modern age. Well, Nicole, I would probably say buy my book, Rule Breaker. That's the start. So the great thing about Rule Breaker is it is exactly what you're looking for. It talks about what are the old rules and what are the new rules. So it's things that you wouldn't normally expect. So one of the rules that I think is really fundamental to break, I'm just going to give you some insight, is fake it till you make it. And that rule is being replaced with being authentic. So in the past, it was always like, wear the clothes in terms of getting the job, etc. And actually, it's more about being yourself and being true to yourself. And as a leader in the modern age, that's super important. So this book is filled with loads of those things, like what makes it different? How has the internet changed the way we look at leadership? But I agree with you. I think, when you're used to working in a corporate structure, you can kind of lose your way a bit. And you really fundamentally, you need to get back to who you are as a person. And that means the rules are kind of slightly different for everybody, but I definitely recommend reading my book. I definitely recommend being more of a collaborator instead of more of a manager or more of a leader, and really look to work with the 8 people that you already have on board in the collaborative more than a management style. But I mean, congratulations, what you've done and what you've achieved so far is amazing. On to the next question, Hannah from Instagram DM. She says, hi, Jackie, how did you realize that it was the right time to sell your company? Honestly, Hannah, the money. I didn't expect to get offers, and it was, my company ended up being quite a hot ticket item at a certain time, number of offers. I was able to negotiate a very good exit package for myself, and I wanted to do something different. I really miss my company. In a way, I don't miss my company, but I miss the work and I miss the clients and I miss my staff. But it was just the right time. And I think in hindsight, maybe I would have planned it out a bit more. It happened very, very quickly. I went from not ever thinking I could sell my business to selling my business in like 6 months. But I'm super happy I did it. It supported me to do a lot of other things that I never would have been able to do. Obviously, one of them, write my book. There's no way I would have had the time had I had my business. And so for me personally, I was looking for doing something different. So I think you need to think about what it is you're planning on doing after you sell your business and really kind of like you want it. If not, like how you structure it. Selling a business isn't for everybody, really, but I definitely would have a plan, have a game plan. Next question, we have Ellen from Twitter DM. Morning, Jackie. You built a successful business after the financial crisis. What were the things you learned in those days that have stood true during this pandemic period? I would say, Ellen, opportunities. I think a lot of it is so doom and gloom. You read the news, you listen to the news, everybody's like, stuck at home. But the silver lining of that is that, when you set up a business, it can be so all consuming and time consuming, but at least, with COVID, you aren't bogged down with like going out for dinner with friends or seeing friends for drinks or all the commitments. You actually have time to focus and concentrate on your business. With the financial crisis, it was slightly different. I ended up being restricted because financially I didn't have any money. I set my business up with £2,000 and I had to work from a laptop. I had to learn. Fortunately, the way that I did marketing, because I didn't have money, was through writing blogs. But, I never thought that would accelerate the business. It was just something I had to do because I didn't have money to do marketing. Now I think it's the smartest way. It turned me into a thought leader faster. So I think rather than looking at whether it's a pandemic or whether it's a financial crisis, rather than seeing these things as negative, try and maybe not see them as positive, maybe not see them as negative, but just look at them. You're constricted in some ways. So how are you going to be innovative within that constraint? And I think that doesn't change. Running a successful business and being a leader is all about, how can you make it work regardless of the situation that you're in. Next question. We've got Facebook Messenger. What advice do you give to people who are knowledgeable but afraid of speaking in public? I am planning to leave my job and look for independent consulting gigs. Pitching to new clients gives me the jitters. Okay, Sandra, I feel you because my husband is like this. And we have the opposite personalities. And honestly, I hate to say this and you're going to hate my answer, but tough. Basically, you kind of have to do it, but what I would say is you get better with it. So practice, and I would practice on I video record stuff. I would do role playing with your friend or your family or somebody, just to start getting you a bit more confident and comfortable with it. But honestly, these things take time. I remember my first sales job. I sold them golf tee-off times. I was so nervous to pick up the phone. And now, I love it. And I would never thought I would love it. And I certainly can do it, but it's experience. And honestly, the more you get out and do it, the better. So I would say, rip that Band-Aid off, pick up the phone, do some cold calling and get out there. Jen from Facebook Messenger. Hi, Jackie. Quite intrigued by the title of your new. If leaders are to break rules and defy conformity, how do they get others to follow them? That's exactly my book, just as an FYI. I know I should buy the book to know the answer, but love a teaser from you. I would love to tell you the whole thing. We just don't have enough time, Jensen. But honestly, the fact of the matter, I will give you the whole crux of it. By breaking rules, by breaking conformity is what makes people follow you. I think it's less about breaking rules and it's more about standing up for what you believe in and being true to yourself and being specific in that. So I think far too often we've been very vague. It's been very diplomatic. Brands don't want to, rock the boat. They don't want to say one thing for fear of upsetting another group of people who might be clients. That's no longer the situation. It really is about being authentic. And I think there's a great example in my book with Wetherspoons, JD Wetherspoons, the pub, and how the founder of that kind of defied traditional thought from a business perspective, and how everybody, shareholders wise, disagreed with him, but actually that the customers ended up winning out, and even though they didn't agree with him, and especially because his decision was a 50-50 split, it was on Brexit, 98% of the people voted for him to be a chairperson. So really fundamentally, we talk about this in the book, but it's more than that. But really fundamentally, it is about being authentic, speaking your truth, and having the confidence to stand up for that, and people will follow. That's kind of how it works. On to the next question. Please make sure the questions keep coming, guys. I'm really loving them. We've got Cameron from Instagram DM. Morning, Jackie. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur working on 2 app ideas with a partner. Our initial research shows a greater market potential for the idea that we are not as passionate about. While we are working towards taking it to the next phase, does it eventually matter if we are not truly passionate about it? It's a classic data versus gut feeling dilemma for us. Cameron, this is in my book. Don't do it. You need passion to carry you forward. Setting up your own business, and it sounds really good, and everybody's wants to run a business that's going to be successful. So I understand the dilemma, But if you're not passionate about it, you're going to struggle to get up at 3 in the morning, necessary things if your app breaks or whatever. The challenges of setting up business and running a business are pretty full on. If you are not passionate about it, it's really hard to do that. Next question, Rejects from Twitter DM. How important is it for business owners to have sales skills? How can we learn and improve these skills while handling the business operations at the same time? Wouldn't it be easier to hire a team and that takes care of it? Well, Rajesh, yes, it would be easier to hire a team. I mean, ideally, it would be easier to sit at home and watch TV and hire everybody to do everything. Financially, that's pretty difficult. And I think that traditionally, a lot of people don't have the capital to hire salespeople. The other thing is salespeople are very tricky to hire just because they're salesy. I'm a salesperson myself, and if you interviewed me for any job, even if it was heart surgery, you'd probably think I could do it. But by the way, I cannot. I absolutely cannot. But I'm very good at sales. So hiring salespeople is a tricky thing to do. But I also think it's important for the founder to get out and hustle and look at sales. I think a lot of the times you'll start understanding your product better when you speak to clients and customers. So go out and try to do sales. And I guess in terms of learning and improving on these skills, I mentioned this with the other answer. It really is about practice. Practice, 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 practice. Practice. I mean, I would role play with your friends, get them to ask questions. It kind of even works if they don't even know the product, because then they're asking questions like legitimately. But I would literally practice as much as you can. And also, I think there's something in there by saying, do some cold calling. Like, it's so difficult to do cold calling because you're super nervous and it's like really random, crazy people. But actually, sometimes when you kind of get used to maybe hearing the word no or having a bit more dejection or rejection, it makes you not as worried or not as scared to have those conversations. But honestly, practice. So in terms of improving the skills, just get practice on your phone, practice questions, write down questions you thought they would ask, practice saying and repeating that, practice your elevator pitch, practice like if you were at a networking event, obviously virtually if we're doing COVID friendly, practice how you would answer or talk to people, practice how you would introduce yourself. The more that you actually just say the words, the better. We've got Aaron Patrick from Facebook Live. Hi, Jackie. Amazing to see you back on Ask the Expert. Thank you, Aaron. It's nice to be back. Do you have any advice for a small business looking to hit 2021 running? 2020 was such a challenging year, no doubt. Anything we can do to anything we can do to prepare for 2021? Aaron, well, I would say buy my book. Joking, obviously, kind of joking, definitely buy the book. But what I would say, I think 2021 is going to be a great year. I think 2020 has been such a crap year that people are looking to like make stuff happen. And I think that have a positive attitude. What I would probably say is really take the end of 2020 and reflect. Think about what's going to be a game changer for you for 2021. What's going to make you happiest? What's going to make you really love the business that you're in, and work towards that. I think this is a great opportunity to realign yourself to your business. I think it's a great opportunity to think about your own internal goals for yourself, for your own fulfillment. And I mean, I think everybody wants to hit the ground running 2021. So I think 2021 is going to be a great year. So underneath it all, I think be really positive. So just a reminder, thank you so much for all your questions so far, but please make sure to buy the book. We've sent you a 20% discount code, so you can pre-order from Kogan page. You can also buy the book on other things like Amazon. You just don't get the discount code. But once you've pre-ordered the book, send us a receipt of the book to QuickBooks UK on Instagram. And that way you guys are entered for a one-on-one business coaching session with me where I can answer all your questions, whether that's from career advice, whether that's you're looking to set up your business. I would even more than happily look through your business plan and give you some feedback if you're thinking about setting something up or you've already got a business. The coaching session will be virtually. We can do it anytime until March. It's going to be fabulous. So please make sure you pre-order the books. Send us your receipt. And I mean, good luck. And obviously, for anybody who doesn't win the one-on-one coaching session, you still get 20% off my amazing book. So you're going to be in good hands regardless. We've just got 5 more minutes left, so I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then we'll call it a morning. So we've got Ezekiel from Instagram DM. What's your writing process like? Do you write for a certain number of hours daily over a long period, or do you write voraciously till your draft is complete? I would love to write a book. Okay, Ezekiel. So I've written 2 books. The first book I wrote voraciously and didn't have a plan. That didn't work well for me, I'll be honest with you. So the second book, I actually ended up having coffee with a professional writer, Crystal Sutherland, and she actually had a schedule. And so I actually adopted that. So the schedule was I worked for 4 hours every single day on my book, whether that was the morning, the afternoon, in the middle of the night. It kind of depended what I had on. And in those hours, I needed to write 1,000 words. So I wrote 1,000 words, but they were like highly edited, highly curated. That was way slower in terms of starting out than my first book, where I was like kind of brain dumping everything. And I didn't like the second process as well, but the book turned out a lot better. So that was my process. I think everybody has their own process though. And if you want to write a book, start with an outline, but absolutely do it. I think it's such a great thing to do. All right, final question from Quentin from Twitter DM. Does leadership skills only develop when you have a team or a set of people working for you? If you do not have anyone working for you, for a freelancer like me, how do you develop and showcase leadership? Quentin, this is a great question and something I tackle in the book. But being a leader, especially now when there is the internet and social media, it doesn't matter if you have 50 people working for you or 0 people working for you. If you're doing freelance gigs, you are trying to be a leader in your field. You don't ever need to have staff to exhibit leadership qualities. It really is about how can you be a thought leader? How can you interesting in terms of the industry, how can you be someone people come to? So especially if you're doing freelance stuff, this is actually more important in a way, because that kind of leadership brings you clients. So that kind of leadership helps accelerate your business and will really grow your business in a good way. So I really want to kind of stress leadership is not about having a massive corporation and having a lot of staff. I mean, again, I use Greta Thunberg as an example, the activist. She is a leader. She doesn't even have a business. Was doing school striking for the climate. So I think anybody can be a leader. And if you're asking questions about it, then you go out, buy my book. But there are ways to showcase leadership by being a freelancer for sure. All right, so the poll results are in. We asked you, is your business prepared for Brexit? 80% of you said yes and 20% answered no. Oh my goodness, amazing. 80% of you said yes, so your business is prepared for Brexit. Good for you. I mean, we've had almost 5 years to prepare for it, so I hope that everybody's prepared. And I mean, fingers crossed that we get a deal out of it. But regardless of what happens, I think the UK businesses will, keep calm and carry on, as they say. So I'm not too worried, but I think it's fabulous that so many of you are prepared. So that's excellent news. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm super glad to be doing this, and especially it's a good end to the year. Please make sure you pre-order my book, you enter the competition. I would love to do a one-on-one business coaching session with you, which would be great. So happy New Year, or happy holidays and happy New Year. And please make sure if you have any questions, then get in touch with QuickBooks support team or myself on Instagram at JackieFast. And don't forget to visit my website at www.jackiefast.com. Now, coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is Jason Arthurton, international chef and restaurateur. Alongside his London restaurants, Jason has also opened critically acclaimed restaurants in Shanghai, Dubai, and a Michelin-starred restaurant in New York. He also has written 4 cookbooks and appeared on several TV programs, including his own BBC Two series, The Chef's Brigade. I am a massive fan of Jason's restaurant, so if you haven't caught this, definitely join in for tomorrow. And just a reminder that if you need any more advice, join the official Intuit on Facebook. Accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. I've really enjoyed answering your questions this morning. Thanks, and hope you have a great day. See you soon.